unlike 17 years ago in Thessaloniki, the Zagreb Declaration don't have the main message, full integration of the Western Balkans in the EU. Is the European Union becoming less ambitious when it comes to Western Balkans?
I couldn't disagree more with your question. It is clear that the European perspective has again been reaffirmed yesterday by the leaders, just as it was established in Thessaloniki. Everything that we are doing are on the basis of the Thessaloniki Declaration. So there is no need to reconfirm always the exact same lines. But if you look at the text, you will find back the European perspective all over, and it is a very important political sign that we need to understand very carefully, that even during the COVID crisis, the leaders of Europe have engaged with the Western Balkan leaders directly. They have had a summit as foreseen before the COVID crisis. So I would say that the enlargement policy is back stronger than ever.
But seriously though, I mean, 17 years ago, we're still dealing with the same countries. There have been one enlargement, yes, Croatia, but the rest are still far from joining. Can you really count this as a success?
There have been ups and downs, but this Commission has put this issue back on the table. We have achieved quite a bit. This is now a prime item on the agenda of the European leaders, as you have seen yesterday. And you see that we have agreed to open accession negotiations with North Macedonia and Albania already under the new Commission. We have put on the table a new methodology to revitalize, to put energy back into the enlargement policy. So I wouldn't be negative. On the contrary, I think that there's a strong revival of enlargement for the Western Balkans.
So is it then fair to expect that you would come with a negotiation framework for North Macedonia by June?
I will. This is what we're working on. We have been working relentlessly even during this crisis, and we will come forward with the proposals in June as part of the annual enlargement package.
So you're confident that June will still happen even though it's coronavirus and things might be thrown off track?
I'm working night and day. You may have seen that whenever I say something, I mean it. So on my side, there will be no effort spared to meet the deadline I imposed to myself, which is June.
And when can you start opening chapters?
That is another question. We need to first agree on the negotiating framework. Once that is done, then we can convene the first IGC, and after that we can start opening the chapters.
You might have seen that the two frontrunners in the enlargement process, Serbia and Montenegro, are no longer classified as democratic states according to Freedom House. Do you agree with their conclusion? And isn't this quite embarrassing for the enlargement that the two frontrunners, in fact, are what's called hybrid states?
As you know, the Commission has its own assessment when it comes to the rule of law, democracy for the Western Balkan countries, including those with which we are conducting accession negotiations. And we will be looking at this situation when we come forward with the report on Serbia and Montenegro.
So you disagree with the Freedom House assessment?
It is an interesting contribution.
Okay, but do you think it sheds bad light on the enlargement process that these two are your frontrunners?
I think that it is not for Freedom House to run the enlargement process. The Commission is responsible for the enlargement process, and we will come up with a very serious, thorough and well-based assessment on both countries.
Turning to Kosovo, they have a very difficult political situation now during the corona crisis with a non-confidence vote of the government. How do you see the solution from this deadlock? Are new elections potentially something that the EU would support?
Look, it is for Kosovo to decide how to ensure a stable and strong government. The country badly needs a stable and strong government, and I do hope that the political parties, together with the president, will be able to find a solid solution.
But would that be through elections, you think? Is that one of the options they should consider?
It is not for me to provide them with options. I think that they are engaging fully now. They have asked also the opinion of the Constitutional Court. So I'm confident that the political leadership in Kosovo will be able to find a tangible solution.
Have you set some deadline for them till when they should come up with a stable government, because they are needed?
It is not for me to set deadlines, but I do consider that the time we are wasting is precious. So if we really want to fight the crisis, if we really want to put Kosovo on a European track, we need to do everything to get quickly a solution for a solid government.
Would you say that any of the countries in the Western Balkans have misused the situation of COVID-19 for political gain?
This is something that we have been hearing. I have been also hearing other news. We are following very, very closely what is going on, and that we are seeing to it that all the principles that we here to defend are also complied with.
What is it you have heard, if I may ask?
I think you are also reading the press.
Okay. Is it any country in particular you're worried about?
Not really. Yesterday I have seen that Serbia has decided to end the emergency situation, and the emergency measures have been revoked as of today. So I think that we are getting out of this crisis now.